G'day, Luke. How you going today?
Good, thanks, Michael. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Just obviously, I'll just introduce you to everyone watching the video. So, today we're chatting to Luke Gardiner from Loans4Homes. Luke's a mortgage broker that we are quite lucky enough to have help a lot of our clients. A lot of our clients that can't get finance or have difficulties with pre-approvals. Luke's fantastic. He sort of comes out and meets the clients locally. I thought it'd be good to get Luke on today because obviously the banking at the moment and loans and people's finances, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. So it'd be good to just sort of hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and see how you're finding things. How are you going, Luke? How's things going at the moment, mate?
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the intro, mate. We're well, mate. We're super busy, actually, probably busier than we've ever been. Got a mix of inquiries. A lot of it, I think, in the first week or so after the COVID-19 lockdowns were announced, was a lot of just sort of panic in the market. People just calling up and asking what their options are, asking about repayment holidays. A lot of them didn't need to apply for the payment holidays. They weren't experiencing genuine financial hardship, but just inquiring what their options are. Since then, we've had a lot of refinance inquiries. So a lot of people looking now to see if they can reduce their rates, save a bit of money, get a bit of cash out as well, increase their buffer in their bank account.
Well, that's a good point. Like that's a really good point that you mentioned, mate. Like, there's obviously interest rates have never been so low in our lifetime. Obviously, money hasn't been as cheap to come by in a very long time for a lot of people. So,
that's right.
Mate, there's a lot of my clients at the moment that are experiencing sort of uncertainty around: do I refinance? Do I sort of sit on the sidelines and not buy at the moment? Do we sort of wait for things to get cheaper again and sort of go and decide to buy them? I mean, how are you finding your clients? Like, are you having a lot of fence sitters, or are you having a lot of clients that are sort of making decisions now?
Yeah. There's been a shift in the market for us. I don't know if you've noticed the same, but we've had a lot of our first home buyer clients sort of drop off there. I think they're going to sit on the fence. They're a little bit more nervous. Obviously, it's a big investment for them. It's probably the most money they've ever borrowed in their lifetime. So they're a little bit nervous and are taking a bit of a backseat at the moment. But we're getting a lot of investor clients coming back now. They're looking to take advantage of this panic in the market and try to stag a bargain where they can. So we're getting a lot of investor pre-approvals through at the moment. And by far the bulk of our inquiry would be refinances, people who are, I think they've got the time now too, everyone's working from home, unless you've got kids running around. But they're working from home, and this is a good chance for them to review their finances, not just their loan, but maybe their insurances and their phone bills and gas, electricity, everything else, So we're getting a lot of clients that are making those inquiries to see if we can help them save a bit of money. But there's certainly a lot of activity in terms of purchases too. Another trend we've noticed is a lot of sale and upgrade. And that was happening before COVID-19, but now it's starting to accelerate because these clients, they're buying and selling in the same market. So they take a bit of a loss on the sale, they make a bit of a gain on the purchase. So
that's what we're noticing as well, mate. Like the trends, I think, are very similar. Like, we're experiencing a lot of upsizes at the moment. A lot of people sort of taking advantage of the price gaps and the changes that are happening there. It is the perfect time to buy and sell if you're sort of doing it in the same market. Everything's relative.
It has to be in the same market, I think. Yeah,
exactly. I think the uncertainty creeps in when people sort of decide to sell now and then, okay, let's wait 6 months and see if I can get an active bargain if prices drop further. And I just don't believe in crystal balling like that. I don't know about you recommending to your clients, but
it's too big a risk, I think. It could work. It's a gamble, and it could pay off. We've had a few clients who have, I think, fluked it. By luck, they sold prior to the COVID-19 lockdown, and now they're in a buyer's market trying to. Well, I wouldn't call it a buyer's market necessarily, but they are definitely seeing discounted pricing in the area that they're looking in.
Well, I think, not every property is being discounted. I think some are.
No, different areas.
We're noticing different areas, different properties are sort of adjusting differently at the moment. I think, I think there's what you call opportunistic buyers out there, and there's definitely buyers that like I helped a lot of clients. We sold 28 properties in the first 2.5 months of this year, and a lot of those
Wow.
clients hadn't bought yet. So yeah, a lot of them were sort of in a position now where I'm getting phone calls from a lot of them saying, "Oh, Michael, like I can't believe we picked it perfectly, and now's the right time."
Yep.
But again, the supply issue, there's not a lot of properties out there to buy anymore. So we're
That's
having to
right.
sort
Yeah.
of, obviously educate people that there's still not a lot. So the right properties, there's still going to be a lot of competition on those, because
Yeah.
they're few and far between still. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about yourself?
Okay.
Like you're, I mean, you often go to people's houses and sort of sit down with them and go through their refinancing or the paperwork to give them the loan pre-approval. And you
Yep.
work locally in most cafes around Ryde. Most people can probably recognise your face from walking down Top Ryde and seeing you in a few different cafes here and there. How are you finding things like yourself from a working environment?
Yeah, it's a change. I mean, I did work from home as well, but sorry, I think I'm missing the routine. I used to get up early and either go to the gym or go for a swim and sit down in a cafe and have a coffee and brekkie, and that's how I'd
Yeah,
start my day. I'd get through on top of my emails before it was even 7 o'clock. Whereas now I get up and I go into the home office. It's nice being around family. So obviously I get to see my wife, my baby girl a lot more, which
yeah,
is nice. She's only 6 months old, so spending some more time with them and getting a few more hugs throughout the day is really nice.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I think you're probably the same. I think it's important to get out and about and have and say hello to people and uh, have your face seen. I suppose that's where I built my business, was on word of mouth and referrals. So
Mm,
getting out, sitting down in a cafe, having lunch or coffee and doing work from there, I'd see yourself, I'd see your team, I'd see a lot of my clients, and sometimes that prompts them to discuss their loan with you or to refer a friend. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
find I'm
100%.
getting a little bit less word of mouth just at the moment,
Yeah, yeah.
because people aren't seeing me out and about.
Yeah, I think the routine, I think you mentioned like everyone's routines have changed from this. Like,
Yep,
obviously in real estate, we've gone from a big switch of doing open homes to private appointments and having to
yep,
adjust the way we do appraisals and speaking to sellers, like future sellers versus now sellers. So there's a
yep,
lot of adjustments that I think every business is taking at the moment. And I think that getting used to the new routines is part of that. What about going to
yeah,
client places? Are you still going and seeing people one-on-one, or how are you sort of handling
yeah.
those discussions?
Yeah, so the instructions that we've received from the banks are that where face-to-face is still appropriate and the clients are happy to meet, then that's the preference. So,
Yeah,
and I prefer that way as well. So
yeah,
I'll obviously check with my clients first whether they're feeling well and make sure that I'm feeling well.
yeah,
And if they want to do that face-to-face meeting, I'm more than happy to do that. But we take precautions. If we're signing documents, I'll take my own pen and they'll use their own pen, so we're not swapping pens. Got my hand sanitizer in my pocket in my car as well.
yeah, good, yeah,
Um, so we're not coughing on each other. Um, so that's the preference, but a lot of clients understandably don't want to do the face-to-face. So we're doing a lot more like what you and I are doing now, Zoom meetings. We're identifying clients using technology like Zip ID.
mm,
So yeah, it's changing. So I think for the better too, because with that, you're able to work more efficiently.
mm,
You cut out all the travel time. So that was a big thing for me. I was on the road a lot before,
yeah,
and driving between appointments. You can use that time to make calls, but a lot of the time it is wasted time. So now that I'm in front of the computer a lot more and doing the face-to-face meetings, that I've got a lot of my time back, so I can use that now to prospect more and to speak to more
yeah.
people.
Speak to more clients. Yeah, exactly.
How do you
What,
find?
what, I'm, oh, mate, I'm finding, yeah, I suppose there's different sort of sellers that want to see us and others that just want appraisals. So there's different sort of
Yeah,
categories, I suppose, of people that we're sort of speaking to at the moment. And I mean, if people are looking to sell in 6 months' time or 12 months' time, we're more so than anything doing a Zoom meeting like this over the phone and sort of or
yeah,
FaceTime, having a chat to them virtually. And a lot of discussions over the phone and giving them a lot of case studies because we're selling a lot of properties at the moment. Like I sold one yesterday off market in West Ryde, and it's because it's not on realestate.com on domain and so on. A lot of clients don't know about it. So I'm sort of
yeah,
speaking to them and sending them case studies virtually and just keeping them in the loop of what's actually happening versus what the media is reporting. So
Yep.
there's a lot of that. I think if it's a now seller, someone who wants to sort of get things done now, different story. Same as what you just mentioned. Like we're taking heaps of precautions, and I mean, I even had a client the other day that basically over the phone when I set up the meeting, they wanted me to wear a face mask. So I've got them set up in the car just in case for certain clients if they do want me to wear the face mask during the appointment. The gloves as well. So different people, obviously, even though you do the hand sanitizer, they just want that extra precaution. So I think you just got to be ahead of the
it
eight
depends
ball.
on the client. Everyone's different. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. How are you finding the banks? Like you mentioned the banks before, and obviously they're giving you certain instructions on how to deal with clients and what to do. But how are you finding them from a tenacity point of view versus a sort of conservative point of view? How are they sort of treating the scenarios?
Yeah. Good question. It's all still a little grey at the moment. They're starting to roll out some changes, but we've got over 20 different banks and lenders on our panel, and I'd say I'm receiving on average about 3 updates per lender per day. A lot of it's the same information just being churned. But I think the general stance is they're still open for business. They still want to deal with customers where it makes sense. It's not a black and white approach. It's, like if you've got a customer that's in an affected industry, such as tourism or hospitality or, personal trainers, for example, where they've been stood down temporarily, then they're going to find it harder to get finance just in the short term. But if you're in a stable job, there's been no impact to your employment or to your income, then it's business as usual. There's more checks, more hoops to jump through at the moment, but they're all temporary measures. So we're just asking a lot more questions now. And I would always ask my customers, even before all this, do you see any foreseeable changes to your income, employment, or other financial circumstances between now and settlement, or even in the near future? And if the client answers that honestly, then we take that information to the bank, and the bank makes their assessment. So it's no different. It's just that there are some industries that are affected by it, and I think for the short term they will find it a bit harder to get finance. But for the majority of us,
what about the comparison? Sorry to cut you off, but what about the comparisons between like, how did you find things in the Royal Commission? So like, I remember me and you were chatting about things 15 months ago, when banks almost sort of just switched off lending due to the regulations that APRA brought in. How are you finding things comparatively now compared to then? Because I know you had a lot of clients back then that really struggled to get finance. How are you finding things comparatively?
Again, it's early days, so I don't think we're going to see the full impact of these changes for another month or two. But I think for me personally, it's a little easier now than it was back then. Banks have dropped rates significantly since the Royal Commission. They've dropped their assessment rate as well, which is the buffered rate which they use to assess a client's ability to borrow funds. So not the actual rate that they're receiving, but there's usually sort of 2.5% buffer on top of that to make sure that if rates go back up, they can still afford the repayments. So that assessment rate itself has dropped. Policy and guidelines have eased up in other areas, but it's a moving goalpost. They're always changing, and we're getting new announcements every day. So I think we'll find in the next couple of months, maybe in the next 6 months, it will be a bit tougher for most people.
And I think we're expecting similar. I think it's more of a ripple effect at the moment coming to the real estate industry. I think like you mentioned before, certain hospitality events businesses, or the varying businesses that are finding it difficult, restaurant owners and so on, travel, I think they're going to find it a lot harder over the next 2-3 months, because tightening in lending and so on is going to happen. So there's going to be a ripple effect. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's going to affect people's ability to be able to borrow on a larger scale, or whether it's going to affect their ability to buy, that's going to be interesting. I think it's sort of watch this space, and like you said, one week at a time. It's probably more.
Sorry, yes, cutting you off now. I think where it makes sense that the banks definitely have an appetite. That's the point that we're trying to get across to our customers. Is don't listen to what you hear in the media. Go and speak to your broker or your advisor or a professional, someone who's in the know, because it's just about asking the right questions. When I first started in the industry, it was just, give me a couple of pay slips and a bank statement and you can get a loan. There weren't too many other questions asked, but now it's about responsible lending, best interest duty, making sure you're doing the right thing by the client. So not only collecting documentation to verify their current income and their current financial circumstances, but to ask all the questions to sort of forecast whether there are any foreseeable changes to their circumstances in the future. And if there are, or if in reverse, if they're maybe experiencing a difficult time right now because of COVID-19, and maybe they're, say, self-employed and their business is experiencing a bit of a downturn, then asking, how long do they foresee this downturn, and when do they think business will return to normal, and mitigating that to the bank and providing detailed explanation as to how you arrived at the figures that you've arrived at, and letting the bank make the assessment.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I think it also sort of touches on another point that I'm dealing with a lot of my clients at the moment who are dealing directly with their bank, and it could be a bank that they've dealt with for 5 or 10 years. I had one yesterday that basically I was having a good chat with them, and when it got down to it, like, it's taken them so far about 3.5 weeks just to get a pre-approval, and they've sort of hit so many stumbling blocks, and it just sounds like the bank manager or whoever they're dealing with is sort of treating them just like another customer, and not sort of researching the best deal for them. And I mentioned obviously that we deal with yourself, and we've got a lot of our clients that deal with you, and obviously can get the best deal through you because you've got the panel of 20 banks and so on. And once I explained it to them and what you do compared to what they were getting, it was quite interesting to see. I think there's no better time to use a mortgage broker than now, rather than go directly to the bank. I know you're going to vouch for yourself as well, but how do you find the differences?
Yeah, well, I started in a bank, actually. That's where I got my start in the industry. I started as a teller, then worked my way up through customer service and lending with one of the major banks. And look, I don't want to be a bank basher. I think there are some very, very qualified mortgage managers and lenders and staff that work in the banking industry, but it's sort of few and far between. And regardless of their experience, they can really only recommend their suite of products. So their policy. So if they're speaking to a client and that client falls into a category that they don't lend to, or that they just for some reason they can't get that client a loan, there's no other option. Whereas with us, we look at like I said, over 20 different banks and lenders, and generally we find that there is at least a handful of those lenders that will lend to every client. There might be some exceptions there, but we don't generally get a client that we can't assist somewhere. So that's the benefit of going to a broker, is that you just get a far wider range of options. And experience too. Most brokers have, on average, a lot more experience than if you go direct to a bank. We come from a banking background, so
nice. Well, I think, mate, it's great to have you on today and have a chat to you, because we've been speaking a lot sort of over the phone over the last few weeks, and I think one thing that I've got to know over a lot of industries at the moment is that people are adapting, and it is business as usual. Things are still getting done. Might not be setting the same records everyone was setting sort of 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, but the reality is that we're still helping people. You've still got clients you're dealing with. I think you're mentioning, like you said, refinancing. Last week you spoke to a number of different clients about refinancing and putting them in better positions. So I think it's great to see, mate, that you're adapting as well, and that there's still business getting done.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, isn't it? I mean, there will be a lot of people that struggle through this time, but there'll also be a lot of people that thrive through this time. Those that are able to adapt to the changes and work out how to work efficiently in this current environment. I think they're the ones that are going to survive. But we also, I think it's our duty also to help those that need help. And I see you do that as well. You do a lot of charity and donations and that sort of work as well. Helping out local sporting clubs and Was it, you were telling me the other day about this, you're sponsoring a local group in Ryde. What was that? The
Well,
mothers?
yeah, there's the Ryde District Mums and a few others that we sort of support.
Yep.
Ryde Saints soccer, which you can sort of see in the background there.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask whose jersey that was.
Yeah,
I think we beat them in the grand final
that's
last year.
mine.
Actually.
That's mine, and that's Ryde Saints. Oh, there you go. Well, that's one thing, mate. That's one thing I'm missing is sport. Like that's one thing that'll never, nothing will ever replace sport. So, can't wait till the Premier League finishes off, and actually want Liverpool to win the comp. So at least I can see something finish. I don't even go for Liverpool, but I just want something to finish. So yeah, looking forward to all that and seeing my Penrith Panthers back in action, mate. So there's going to be some good things to look forward to. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Excellent, mate. Well, thanks for coming on today, and we'll talk over the phone over the next few weeks, and look forward to helping you out and helping a few of my clients out.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Luke. Speak to you later, mate.
Good man. Have a good
Bye.
day.